Yeah, it's recording.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So once again, welcome everybody to the Potential Difference Inc. Covenant Intellectual Properties Perpetual Motion Machine Demonstration, June 6th, June 29th, sorry, 2023. So what we're demonstrating here today is the RegenX generator, perpetual motion machine of the first kind, the RegenX quantum motor, perpetual motion machine of the first kind, and the electric vehicle regenerative acceleration innovation / perpetual motion machine of the first kind. So the first question anybody should be asking is, what is a perpetual motion machine of the first kind? So a perpetual motion machine of the first kind is any machine that has the ability to perform positive or negative work without requiring an external energy supply. A perpetual motion machine of the first kind violates Newton's first law, and it violates the law of thermodynamics, the law of conservation of energy, and it's apparently impossible. And not only is it absolutely possible, but everybody here owns a perpetual motion machine of the first kind or more than one. So perpetual motion machines of the first kind include all Faraday electric generators. So that's every generator in the world today, every alternator in every internal combustion engine can be classified as a perpetual motion machine of the first kind, and as I go through, the explanation will become more clear. Every Faraday electric motor is also a perpetual motion machine of the first kind, and every RegenX generator that we're demonstrating here, US patented RegenX generator, every RegenX quantum motor, and the electric vehicle regenerative acceleration innovation. They're all perpetual motion machines of the first kind. So the new paradigm that our innovations put forward is the elimination of all mechanical input power that's required in electricity generation. If you want, using the current Faraday electric generator model, if you want to generate a megawatt of electric output power, if you want to generate a megawatt of electric output power with Faraday electric generators, you need a minimum of a megawatt of mechanical input power to turn the generator. This is because the Faraday generator is performing negative work, and we'll get to that in a second, but negative work is defined as anything that reduces the kinetic energy of a body or system. So the alternator in everybody's car is performing negative work when it's reducing the kinetic energy of the vehicle and when it's robbing the engine of horsepower. So the alternator in everybody's car is performing negative work without requiring any external input energy. So what we're bringing forward is the elimination of all the mechanical input power required when generating electricity. So what that means is, in the future, if you want to generate a megawatt of electrical output power, you need 0 watts of mechanical input power in the generator's drive shaft. The elimination of all electric input energy requirements in all electric motors. Again, if you want to perform mechanical work, mechanical output from an electric motor, currently you need to put electric input energy into that motor. We're going to demonstrate today that that's no longer true. You don't need any electric input energy when performing mechanical work in electric motors moving forward. The elimination of electric vehicle plug-in recharging and the elimination of fuel consumption in your internal combustion engines and all internal combustion engine vehicles on the planet. So again, the alternator in your car performs negative work without external energy input, and the negative work means it reduces the kinetic energy of your vehicle. The Regen X alternator performs positive work with the exact same energy source, and instead of reducing the kinetic energy of the vehicle, it increases the kinetic energy of the vehicle. And so you're gonna see that as well. So the intellectual properties that we're demonstrating here today, there's 3 of them. They are direct replacement innovations for all Faraday generators that are used in the world today. Every generator in the world today will be replaced with our innovations. Every Faraday electric motor, every alternator in every internal combustion engine, the elimination of all EV plug-in recharging stations, and all the current machine design software that people are using to design electric machines. The new laws of physics that we're putting forward, that you're going to see in action today, is the violation of the first law of thermodynamics. Let me know when I've blown your mind, okay? If it's not blown by now, I'm
very intrigued.
So, we're violating the first law of thermodynamics. That's the foundation of all physics. That's the holy grail. That's the mother of all laws of physics. So we're violating the first law of physics, the theory of conservation of energy, and we're introducing the law of creation of energy. We're going to be violating Newton's first law, Newton's third law, Lenz's law of induction, the work energy principle, and we're rewriting Faraday's law of induction. So, this is the equation for the first law of thermodynamics. What it says, essentially, is the engines or motors in everybody's internal combustion engine vehicle or electric vehicle, when it's performing work, the motor must get hotter. That's basically what this equation says. And what we're doing is we're saying that when our Regen X motor is doing work, and when our Regen X generator is doing work, and when our electric vehicle regenerative acceleration technology is doing work, recharging the battery and accelerating the EV, increasing the EV's kinetic energy, the motor, the primary motor in the EV is not getting hotter. In fact, it's getting cooler. So this is the new equation for the first law of thermodynamics, which in fact no longer applies, and in fact it never applied in electrodynamics. So let me just make sure. So the RegenX generator patent, this is the number here, and then the RegenX motor patent, that's its number here. So currently, with the law of creation of energy and the RegenX motor and the RegenX generator, we're eliminating all the input energy cost in all electricity generation, all the CO2 and all the air pollution that is emitted during the electricity generation phase. Our technology will eventually eliminate the carbon tax, the climate change crisis, and all the agendas coming out of the WEF. We have 5 intellectual properties, and each one of them are direct replacements for the technologies that are currently in the marketplace, and each innovation has at least a valuation of basically $1 trillion each. Okay, that's it. Just make sure it's still going. Still going?
Yeah.
So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce everybody to the law of creation of energy and a Faraday generator perpetual motion machine of the first kind. If you Google perpetual motion machines, if you go on Wikipedia, the first thing they'll say is a hypothetical thing, it's impossible, blah, blah, blah. A perpetual motion machine of the first kind, there's 3 types of perpetual motion machines. There's a perpetual motion machine of the first kind, second kind, third kind, and the first kind is a machine that performs work without external energy input. So, and the third kind, perpetual motion machine of the third kind, will be the electric vehicle regenerative acceleration innovation that allows electric vehicles to completely recharge themselves as they drive, providing unlimited driving range, eliminating the plug-in recharge infrastructure or requirement, and reducing the battery size in EVs down to maybe 80% less than what's currently required, and introducing electric vehicle plug-in discharging, where you bring your vehicle home or you bring your vehicle to work and you plug into your home or your business and you power your business from the stored energy in your EV. So the first step is to introduce everybody to the law of creation of energy. Now again, if you go and you Google perpetual motion machine of the first kind, a perpetual motion machine of the first kind has to violate the theory of conservation of energy. Okay, fine. That's what we're going to do. We're going to violate the theory of conservation of energy, and we're going to introduce the law of creation of energy. So who wants to be my guinea pig? You? Kellyanne? Come on.
No.
Bogdan? Anybody?
No.
Now everybody is welcome to come and check this out if you want. And again, you can feel free to come up. You don't have to sit way at the back. Okay, what I want you to do, Kellyanne, this believe it or not, is a perpetual motion machine of the first kind. It's a regular DC motor, okay? And if we turn it by hand, it turns into a Faraday electric generator, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to turn it in the clockwise direction, and I want you to turn it at the same RPM. Okay, try to maintain the same RPM. Then I'm going to introduce you to the law of creation of energy, and I'm going to introduce you to the negative work that the created electromagnetic field energy performs. Okay, so turn this and just keep turning it. Just keep it going, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this to here, and current's going to flow through the winding, and then you're going to get electrocuted, okay? So don't worry, it won't hurt. It'll be over in a second. Keep going. You feel that? You feel that resistance? Okay. So keep turning, keep turning. Now, if I wanted to perform negative work, okay, on you rotating that drive shaft, I would have to physically resist it, right? Okay? I would have to apply external energy, okay? Now, in order to reduce the kinetic energy, keep going. Now, here we have an electric generator. There's no external energy going into it, and yet it's performing negative work. Do you feel it? Yeah. And you are generating, you're generating 0.3 amps of current. So the greater, you can stop. The greater the magnitude of current that's flowing through the windings, the stronger the electromagnetic field energy is created around the current-bearing wire and around the coils inside the generator, and the more negative work is performed. Okay? So the energy source, and this is very important, you can go sit down now again. It's fine, you can go sit down. Yeah. So the energy source that's required in order to perform the negative work that you experienced, the reduction in kinetic energy of your rotation, that energy it's not an external energy source. It's an internally created energy source. And it's being created at the subatomic quantum electron level inside the current-bearing wires, okay? So when you're turning the generator, you're inducing a voltage in the coils, okay? And when we connect the wires so the current can flow through the coils, through the whole thing, 0.3 amps or whatever it is you are doing, that what's happening inside the wires is that the electrons that are around the copper atoms, the voltage or / electromotive force, it should actually be called electron motive force. It pushes the electrons. Now your dad told me you guys wanted to go into science, okay? So by the time you leave here today, you're gonna know more than any motherfucking physicist or electrical engineer on the planet, okay? Are you ready? So, the electrons, when a voltage or electromotive force is applied to the wire, based on your turning, the electrons in the valence orbit, the outermost loose electrons, they are forced out of their orbit and they cascade within the wire. And once they get out of their orbit, they become unstable. So they're looking for another orbit in order to jump back down, to become, to reestablish their stability, their
equilibrium.
Yeah, their electron stability. They don't want to be out of their orbit. When the electrons come back down to their valence orbit, they emit photons. And photons are, a photon is essentially energy, okay? The photon energy creates the magnetic field around the wire. And the photon electromagnetic field energy that's created around the wire is the energy source that performs the negative work. Okay? That's the law of creation of energy. Energy is created at the subatomic quantum electron level when an electromotive force or voltage causes current to flow in a current-bearing wire such that electromagnetic field energy is created via electron fission, pushing the electron out of the valence orbit, and electron fusion when it comes back down and emits the photons. That's the law of creation of energy. So it's important that you know that, because when the conventional generator decelerates, you have to ask the question, if you're observant, you have to ask the question, what's the energy source that's required to perform the negative work? And then when you see the kinetic energy of the system going up, when you see the system accelerating, you really have to ask the question, where's the energy coming from to make it accelerate? Okay? So when I was 18, sitting in my motors and generators class in Seja, on Maisonneuve Boulevard in Hull, Quebec, the teacher was introducing us to generator armature reaction, or EV regenerative braking, although EVs weren't even a thing back then. And he said that generator armature reaction, what you felt, is a counter electromagnetic torque, which opposes the rotation of the prime mover. You were the prime mover, okay? Got that? So the generator was producing a counter electromagnetic torque. Now, I had just transferred from physics to electronics technology, and I still had enough physics left in my brain, and I put my hand up and I said to the professor, where does the energy come from in order to perform the counter electromagnetic torque? Because torque is work, and you felt the work. The professor couldn't answer the question, and the global physics community, the global engineering community, still can't answer that question today, because the answer is the energy is created at the subatomic quantum electron level. And so what that means is that Newton's first law that says if you want to increase the inertia or decelerate the inertia of a body or system, you need to put energy, you need to apply an external force, you need to apply external energy. Well, there was no external energy here. And the other thing is, the first law of thermodynamics says that the heat that was built up in the generator is what's causing it to slow down, which is causing it to get harder to turn. Well, that's complete baloney, because we're not generating any, this is not a steam engine, and we're not generating so much heat that, it just doesn't make sense. So that's the foundation of what everybody needs to have before they see the actual demonstration. What we have here is we have a conventional electric generator and a Regenex generator. The conventional Faraday electric generator performs negative work with created electromagnetic field energy, and the Regenex generator performs positive work with created electromagnetic field energy. It's the exact same energy. It's the exact same energy source. What we're doing is we are delaying the creation of the electromagnetic field energy in the Regenex generator so that we can reverse the counter electromagnetic torque, the negative work, and perform a complementary electromagnetic torque, aka positive work. So, what's your name again?
Darius.
Darius. Just stand up for a second. Okay, I'm going to just stay there. Darius is going to help me explain the conventional or the Faraday electric generator. Okay? So you're going to approach me slowly. Now I'm a conventional generator coil. Okay? So I'm going to resist your approach. Keep going. Now you have to keep going. Keep going. So he has to apply more energy in order to overcome my electromagnetic resistance. Okay? Now, eventually he gets to here, and you want to keep going. But now I'm not letting him go, or I'm resisting his departure. Okay, go back to where you were. Stay there. Okay. So that is conventional generator operation. The rotating magnetic field is approaching the coil. The coil is performing negative work, resisting its approach. When you get past, okay, the current changes direction in the coil, and I resist your departure. Okay? Now I'm going to show you visually what a Regenex generator coil does. Come, come, come. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm delaying my reaction until he's here. I've stored all the energy that has been built up in me, and now I'm pushing him. Now I'm accelerating his departure. Not only am I accelerating his departure, I'm speeding him up, but I'm attracting his south pole brother that's coming into position. I'm completely reversing the paradigm. So, you can go sit down now. So when, in a conventional coil, when the rotating magnetic field is moving away, the current changes direction to resist, let's say, the north pole magnet that's moving away, while resisting the approaching south pole magnet that's coming into position. It's always electromagnetic resistance, and in the Regenex generator coil, the created electromagnetic field energy is delayed in the time domain, and we're using it to perform positive work. That's the foundation. And
where's the negative work there?
sorry?
Where is the negative work?
When he's approaching me, he's got a certain amount of kinetic energy. He's coming at a certain speed. When current is flowing through me, I'm the coil. I'm producing the electromagnetic field around the coil that's performing negative work on him, slowing him down, forcing him to apply more energy to keep coming towards him.
In the conventional.
In the conventional. In the Regenex, it's reversed. I'm delaying my reaction in the time domain.